now you have to get the position of the mouse cursor, because whenever you will move the mouse on the screen, you have to move the image along with that cursor. So it's very important to get the coordinates of the mouse cursor, and according to that we will paste the image on that cursor and we will move the image along with that cursor. So in this way we can animate the cartoon cursor. Now the background is set to white color. Now let's get the coordinates of the mouse cursor. To get the coordinates of the mouse cursor, we will use pygame.mouse.getPosition method, which is equal to so this position will return the x and y coordinates of the cursor on the screen. So it will continuously tell you what is the position of the cursor, and based on that we can move our image along with that. Now we will calculate the width and height of the cursor. Means we want to place the image in the center of the cursor. So for that we need to find out the height and width of the cursor for an image. Okay. So now let's calculate the x and y coordinate for the image. So we want the midpoint of the cursor. So x minus equal to cursor dot get width, and we are going to calculate the 50% of that width. Similarly, so this will return us the midpoint of the image, this two lines. Okay. After creating any object, the another important thing is we have to put that object on the surface. So we have already learnt about the blit method, so I won't explain you in detail what is blit. So now we are going to put that cursor on the screen. So where I want to put that function, I want to put that function on the screen. So let's use the blit method, and in that blit method I'm going to pass the object which I want to paste along with the position. Now we have to update the screen each and every time so as to get the recent output. So let's update the screen. Unless and until we update the screen, we won't be able to see the output. There is also one more method with the help of which you can update the screen, and the name of that method is flip method. If you are using the flip method, it updates the specific areas of the screen, and if you are using the update method, then it updates the entire screen. So it's totally upon you what you want to do. If you want to do your computation in the less number of steps or in less time, then go for this method, which is dot flip, and if you don't care about the computation time, then just go for update method. So this is the end of our program. So what we have done, we have imported important libraries, then we have initialized all the modules in the program. We have created a variable, and in that variable we have declared our image file. Then the display is created with the help of display.setMode. Then the image is loaded. After loading the image, we have created a loop, and that loop will run until the value remains true. With the help of pygame.event.get method, we have gathered all the events in a queue, and we are going to iterate all the events one by one, and we are going to check what is the event type, and based on the event type we will take the required action. So if the event type is equal to quit, then we will quit the application. If not, then we are going to fill the background with the white color. Then we are going to get the mouse coordinates with the help of getPosition method, and then we are going to put that image on that cursor, and we will update the screen to get the recent output. Now let's run this to see what is the output. For quit we should write everything inside the for loop. We got the output. See, we have created a cursor and we have used the star image. As I am moving my mouse, the image is also moving along with the cursor. So in this way, you can create animated cursor in your game application. So in case if you are creating a game for kids, so they will be fascinated by such cursor. So in this way, you can create the image cursor. Now I will use another image. Now let's use another image. So this is big one. Angry bird. Now let's see how to create our own cursor. So in the Paint application, here you can create your cursor. For example, if you want to create some, okay, let's create cloud. Okay, let's give some color. Fill it with some color. Okay, so for example, the icon which I have created, we can also write here something. Pygame. Okay, now let's save this. We will save it as a PNG image. And we will save it in a current working directory. Let's give name custom icon, custom icon. Okay, save it. Now we have created this image, this icon we have created. Now we will use it in our program. Run this program. See, we have created our own icon and we are using it as a cursor now. So in this way, you can create your own cartoon characters, your game characters, and you can animate them. We have learned how to create different object, background, text, font, colors. Now let's learn how to move the object. In game, you have to animate the objects, you have to move the objects. Now we will see a small program which will move image. So the name of this program is image movement. Image movement exists, image move. Okay. As usual, the first steps is importing the necessary libraries. Pygame. After importing the necessary libraries, the next step is to initialize all the modules. So pygame.init method is used to initialize all the modules in the program. If you're not using pygame.init method, then you have to import individual modules by using pygame. The name of the function or the class .init. In this way, you can initialize the module. But pygame.init method initializes all the module at once. After the initialization, let's create a display. To create a display, we are going to use the size of the window. Size is equal to, let's take 600. We'll create big window, 1000, 500. Okay. Now to create a window, there is a function which is pygame.display. And with the help of that, we can set the window size. So screen is equal to pygame dot display dot set mode, and let's pass the size. Okay, or you can also write size here directly. We have created a tuple and we are passing the tuple here. Okay, after creating the window, you can load any image. You can create your own cartoon character, game character, and you can load that. Pygame dot image dot load, and here I'm going to load my favorite cartoon character, penguin, angry bird, peng.png, and use the method convert. You can also skip this step. You can skip this convert function as well. The next thing is clock timing is very important because it updates your screen as per the frame per second count. So to set the frame per second count, you have to use the method which is pygame.time.clock method. So let's create another variable which is clock and use pygame.time.clock. Okay, so C is capital here. The next thing is we are going to create some variable which is x and y. Now, the main important thing is we are moving an object. To move an object, we need to change the coordinates of the x and y. So at any position, if you are putting your image, you have to increment that image or decrement that image to move the image to left or right. So based on the x and y, our image will shift to the another location. Basically, when we move any object, we don't literally shift the image. We just recreate the image at some another location and we just erase the image which was at the previous position. So what we are going to do now, we are going to change the coordinates of the x and y, and that coordinates will get updated and the previous image will be erased. So you can move this image based on the increment factor. So if you want to move the image by 1 location, 2 location, 5 location, so it depends on you how you want to move your image. So what we are going to do is the basic thing is we are just going to increment the values of x and y, or we are going to decrement the values of x and y. It's up to you whether you want to move image to left side or right side. Here I'm not going to control the image, so we will do that in the next program. Here I'm just going to move the image either to left or to the right. Okay. Now after creating the time clock, let's create the variables. So we need to initialize the variable first and dynamically we will update these two variables. So initially I want my image to be at this position which is 405. Now also create one more variable which is done and set it as true. Then now I want background in the black color. So I'll create one tuple and I'll set the color to 0000000 means black. Now let's create a game while loop. So while done. So this loop will run until the value of done changes to false. Okay. And again we have to do the same thing. We have to check all the events which is happening and we have to log all those events in the event queue. Then we will create a for loop. With the help of that for loop, we will iterate through all the events and based on the event type, we will take the required action. So if the event type is quit, we will quit the application, and if the event type is not quit, then we will proceed with the logic which we have written in the while loop. Now we are going to iterate all the events in the event queue. For event in pygame.event.get method. So let's iterate all the events in the event queue. Check the event type. If event.type is equal to pygame.quit. If someone presses the quit button, then we are going to change the status of done and we will set it as false. Okay. So in case if someone doesn't quits the application, then we will write the code. So if now what we want to do, we want to change the location of the image, or we want to move the image. To move the image, I told you we have to just change the coordinates of x and y. Here I want to move image horizontally, so I will change only the x coordinate. If you want to move vertically, then you have to change the y coordinate. So I'll keep y coordinate as it is and I'll just change the x coordinate. So I want to move the x coordinate. So what I'll do, I will increment or decrement my x coordinate by some parameter, and in this while loop I'm writing the code, so dynamically it will get updated. So x is equal to -5, then screen. Now let's set the background with the help of fill parameter, and you can set any color. So let's set black color, but you can't directly write the name of the color. First you have to initialize that color. You have to use the color code OR. So this is the color code for black. I have initialized it first and then I'm going to use it. So if you want to use any other color, you can directly use it here. You can just pass the name of the color code. Okay. The next thing is, after loading the image, we need to put that image on the background, and I want to update that image dynamically as well. So screen dot blit. Blit is the method which is used to put the object on the screen. So with the help of blit method, I'm going to do that. So let's put whatever the image we have on the screen and put it on some coordinates, which is x and y. Now let's update the screen. So pygame dot display dot update. Another method to update the screen is the flip method. You can also use that to update the specific areas of the screen. Then you can refresh your screen based on the clock ticks. So that will speed up your animation or it will slow down your animation. If you want to speed up, then you have to give more frame per second, and if you want to slow down, then give less frame per second. Then clock tick is 30, and then let's quit the application, pygame dot quit, and run the program. And we got the output and it's not moving. Now let's see what is the problem. Because I wrote, okay, see, the image is moving now. So this is moving horizontally because I set x parameter. So if you want to move the image vertically, then you need to set the y parameter. So let's set y parameter here and let's check. See, the image is going up. So in this way you can animate your image, you can move your image